Okay guys, welcome back. You are tuned in to the Shinhan Tank Pro League. We are going to head into Game 3 of SK Bravo versus Team Liquid. Now, this should be a pretty cool game as well. Basically, the one thing about this game is it was initially going to be a PvT, but unfortunately Blacksnow had to substitute with Maxtor, so it is going to be a PvP, but that should be a lot of fun anyway. V1 showing very, very strong games so far. And of course, lots of stuff to go on, and I've just realized, so anyone who used to watch me stream ladder, and I will eventually start streaming ladder again, I would always make tea and forget about it, and this is cold tea. I'm gonna have to try and drink that because it's kind of like a waste otherwise. But we're actually gonna have blue versus teal, so this could be a bit awkward. But hopefully it should be okay for the overlay. Let me just generate all the overlay and everything like that. And let's move on to have a look at who the players are going to be and what is going on in this series. So let's have a look. Okay, that's the wrong screen. But as you can see, the players this game are going to be V1 versus Blacksnow. V1 doing a pretty good job so far. He's won 2 games, lost 3. But of course, having a very respectable performance for his team. One of those wins was in the ace match. He did actually give them one of their wins, so really, really nicely done by him. Blacksnow, not having the best of luck. He's only played 1 game so far, so this is the second game. He is going to be looking to get some redemption, and of course, he is on... he's on match point now, so basically if Blacksnow can beat V1 in this PvP, they will win the series 3-0, but of course there is a 4th game still to play, and that will be casted. But if V1 does win this, he keeps his team's dreams alive in the series, and in the round of the round 1 actually, they're so close to making it into the playoffs here that every win does count. They've not had the best chance in this series so far, but they're still going to be fighting very, very hard for it. Now let's have a look at what map they're going to be playing on. It's going to be New Empire of the Sun. We've had some really cool PvPs on this map so far. Protoss have been putting in a pretty dominating performance on this map overall. I would have thought Terran would do a little bit better, but Protoss and Zerg really getting sent out a lot on this map. And you know what? It's a really, really cool map, so... really looking forward to seeing exactly how this is going to go. Now let's actually head on over to the game screen. And let's get started on the game. And it looks like a lot of people don't like PvP because they've all tuned out. But you know what, it doesn't matter. Let's get into the game and let's get started, guys. So, starting us off in the bottom left position, fighting for Team Liquid, it is going to be the blue Protoss, V1. And his opponent down here in the bottom right is going to be the teal Protoss. It is going to be Blacksnow, fighting for SK Bravo on match point. Well, he's on match point, but they're on New Empire of the Sun. Now, one thing I would like to mention, of course, this is only round 1. If you're not too sure of the format of the tournament, there are 4 rounds overall, 4 sets of playoffs, and the entrants into the playoffs get league points, which add up to the final table, basically, and will seed them into the grand final sort of playoffs as well, if they do get enough league points throughout the season. So a lot still to play for. I'm thinking about changing the way the league points work to make every game really count towards the final result. But of course the playoffs do need to have a little bit of a benefit because they are for the top 4 teams, top 2 from Group A and Group B. But we've had a lot of fun so far. There's a lot of fun still to come. Empire of the Match Point. And this is the map the other day where we saw nukes in TVZ, and we saw a lot of nukes as well. So if nukes in TVZ are your thing, then please do check out the VOD between Radley and Cold. That was an incredible, incredible game. And I'm not going to spoil it, but there was a lot of nukes. Now, strangely, and I mean, I think this is a travesty, not one single nuke was clipped. Like, I asked people, how didn't you clip this? There was like 100 viewers at that point. And a lot of people are saying like, oh, I usually let someone else do it, but you know, when there's not that many viewers, I mean, 100 viewers isn't that much. You got to take the initiative. You got to make your own clips, guys, because you miss a lot of nukes in a TBZ. Like, I think there was about 8 nukes overall, and it was one of the scrappiest games I've ever seen. But one thing I will say is it did make me want to nuke in TBZ. But going back to this PvP, of course, don't want to go off tangent too much. We have Gateway and Gas for both players. Going to be a Cybernetics core for both as well, most likely. Is the... No Cyber core yet for V1. I guess he's going to go for a very late Cybernetics core. Did we have a Zealot coming out? I guess the one thing is V1 did build a Zealot a lot quicker, so that probably does add up to that. Blacksnow did go to a Cybernetics core first, and then into a Zealot. That's why it's so delayed. But that will allow him to get his Dragoon range a lot quicker, start working on this first Dragoon as well. But V1 looking to want to put a little bit of pressure on at the front here, of course. One Zealot, one Probe will beat one Zealot with good micro, but one Zealot with good micro can actually beat both of these as well. And here we go, it looks like he's going to skip the Zealot. One thing to note, Zealots have so much health, even Zealots take forever to kill Zealots, so he is going to go for some Probes here instead. But really, really nice defense so far by Blacksnow, putting on a very, very good effort trying to hold on to this, trying to make sure he doesn't lose any probes, and I mean, he's done a fantastic, fantastic job right now. The first probe finally going down, but one probe kill for a Zealot, not going to be worth it, and the probe does actually run away. This is actually the second Zealot. Probe running away as well with its tail between its legs, does not want to... doesn't want to go too far in now. Hopefully you guys are having fun watching so far. There's obviously a lot more STPL action coming your way today. Of course, we are only in the first set. The second series is going to be FPW versus Seoul, and this has been a pretty interesting set so far. Really nice probe assassination there by V1. Going to take that down with a Zealot. Going to add a Robo on as soon as the probe is dead. So here is where we see the first divergence in the builds. We do have Robo for V1, that's going to mean likely quicker Reavers, but he could be going for Observers. Meanwhile, in Blacksnow's base, he's going straight into 3 gateways. Now, there's a really weird interaction in PvP where one player can go DTs, for instance, which we're likely not going to see here. But if you see someone going 3 gate without Observatory, they just die to DTs. But in this case, it's going to be 3 gate versus Robo. Now, V1 is actually going into a second gateway as well, which makes me think this is more likely going to be for an Observatory quickly, just to make sure he doesn't die to DTs or anything. And you can see he's adding on a pylon at the top of his base, just to maybe hide some tech, but this probe is going to basically tell us what we're going to see. It is going to be Support Bay, so Support Bay going to be very, very good for him. Going to give him the Reavers that he will need to deal with this massive 3-gate army. Of course, he does need the second gate to keep up in production, but for now, he does have the high ground, and until Blacksnow goes around, he will have the positional advantage. But V1 needs to be careful. One of his Dragoons getting pulled out of position, but this is one of the reasons, as you just saw there, why people say that Protoss is a little bit easier early on. It takes a long time for Protoss units to die, especially in PvP. Like that DT, or that Dragoon, I mean, that guy lived through about 4 or 5 shots, so really, really nicely done by him. But looks like Blacksnow is going in for the kill. Can he manage to do it? V1 doesn't have that many units. He's pulled back to his choke, but he should have a Reaver very, very shortly if he has gone for that. I do wonder if he's gone for a shuttle first. But this is going to be pretty good for him. He's held off the attack for now. But there's so many Dragoons heading over from Blacksnow's base. Blacksnow adding on a Robo of his own. Do we have that all-important Reaver out? We nearly do, and this could be the linchpin in V1's army here. If V1 can make good usage of this Reaver, he should be able to hold off this push. And here it comes. Do we have any Scarabs? Yes, we do. And a nice target fire on that first Dragoon. Going to take it down immediately. But V1 needs to be careful, needs to make sure that his Reaver does not get too far forward and get sniped by the enemy forces. And I mean, he's just building up his count here. We have a pylon coming in. I think this is likely going to be a Citadel and Templar Archives. Yes, it is. So we are going to see a tech switch coming in here for V1. Now V1 could actually go straight into DTs if he chooses to. He can also go into a High Templar with Storm. That would also be a very strong option. Meanwhile, to transition out of this Blacksnow, going for an expansion. Going to play a little bit more economically sound. Most likely going to see the Observatory coming in here. Yes, we will. So really, really nicely done by him, making sure that he doesn't die to anything stupid. And V1's probe going to be looking to move out onto the map, do any scouting it can. It can see the Dragoons are at least near his ramp, so he has to be careful. But we should actually have a shuttle coming in very, very shortly. Maybe not. So it looks like he is going to go for the expansion first. Doesn't want to risk the Reaver. Trying to go for probe kills, I guess, but you can see that Blacksnow is getting ready for the shuttle. He does not want to die to a Reaver drop. He's got a very good position in the game right now. His natural nexus is so much further forward than V1's. V1's hasn't even started. It should start in the next 10 seconds or so. And let's see if this comes up right away. Yes, it does. There we go. But I mean, that's a good amount of time behind. Like, he's starting it as Blacksnow is about to start mining from his, so I mean, V1 is in a pretty terrible position. The one benefit he does have is he does, for the time being, have the tech advantage. And here we go, the Observatory was actually quite late here, so these DTs could do a lot of damage. Let's see how far away the observer is. I'm actually going to have a look at the robo, just to see if that's going to pop out anytime soon. But we have a DT in the natural, going to be taking down probes, getting 2 probes already. There's still no observer out. The observer has only just now popped. The poor DT getting a little bit confused though. But this DT doing a lot of damage. 5 kills in the natural, and this one is completely unhindered in the main. The units have been pulled away from the natural, from the main into the natural. We're having a probe split here. The probes from each base going into the other DT, high-fiving the DTs and running back again. But 7 kills. This is so much damage for him to be taking in. He only has a single observer, so it's so hard for him to be able to deal with this. 8 kills, 9 kills, 10 kills on this DT. Can he get an 11th? Going to be trying to hide away from the observer, but not going to be able to get away, I don't think. Yes, he is. DTs are very, very slippery. They're very fast, and he is going to get out completely unscathed. That is so much damage for Blacksnow to be taking. Blacksnow is now 20 supply behind, and even though the Nexus of V1 was a lot later, he is more than enough even the score here. Blacksnow has lost a lot of units, a lot of probes, and unfortunately for him, he is now going to be the one playing from behind. He's not really got enough... he's not even got enough probes to really saturate one base right now. He's not mining from all of his patches. Oh, maybe he is actually. This probe looked like it was mining here, but I mean, this is kind of crazy because as soon as he moves out, this DT is going to go back in, and it's going to snipe whatever remaining units he has. Now, we've got a second Reaver out here at the front. I mean, V1 is just going absolutely insane with the tech right now. Looks like we do have the Observer in the main getting taken down as well. And that's something Blacksnow can't really be afford to losing at the moment. If you want to have a look at the standings, I will show them just after this game. And what I'll do is I'm going to post them up in the thread as well. And now I've got the table all sorted at the end of each cast. I'll put up the latest standings. But they've been pretty crazy so far. I'll bring them up on the stream soon. But obviously, let's get through this game first and through the series possibly. But it's been pretty exciting so far. There's a lot of teams that are very, very close to each other in score. And I mean, V1, this could be SK Bravo's first win of the tournament. Blacksnow doing a really good job, but V1 nearly pulling off a miracle. And here we go. It's going to be a race. The probe is going to try and get a Nexus down. This would be an incredibly greedy third base if he goes for it. But this DT going to stop it, and he does! That is so unlucky for Blacksnow, but it looks like maybe it was a fake. He's actually added on some more buildings somewhere, I believe. I'm going to add a pile on there. What has he started building? He just spent like 400 minerals. He built 3 zealots at once. I guess that's a way you can spend a lot of money as Protoss. Looks like the DT has been finally chased away, and it looks like we may have V1 going for that pretty, I mean, in this case, it's a pretty safe third base for him. He has a lot of units back at home. He doesn't have any upgrades. I don't think he has a forge yet. Of course, upgrades in PvP are a little bit rarer. We do have 8 gateways for him. Sorry, 7. There's no gateway at the main. And it looks like we only have 3 gates still for Blacksnow. He can't really afford to add any extra ones. He's slowly his main is now saturated. He's slowly starting to resaturate his natural as well, but here comes the third. A little bit late, but I mean, this is almost greedy for Blacksnow. He's so far behind. He's doing the best he can to pull back, and one thing that I learned from Scan, I asked him this once, I said, like, what do you do when you're behind? And he said, when you're behind, you basically have 2 options. You either go all in, or you try something incredibly greedy. And it looks like Blacksnow is trying to go for the greedy option. Looks like we do actually have the pylon coming up here. We should have Nexus coming up here first. But here we go. We're going to have V1 pushing into the high ground. The units of Blacksnow in a very good position, but the Reavers going to be doing so much damage here. A huge Scarab goes down. Even Storm on this army as well. The Zealots decimating everything. And we do have V1 gonna give TL the win. And they are gonna make it 1-2 in the series.